Hello everyone, welcome back to the Zach GP channel, and in today's episode it has been about an hour or so since the Cota Grand Prix, and I have to give my review of everything that happened around the Cota Grand Prix weekend, the ranking of how it's done, and basically just overall how did I feel about this weekend's racing. So first of all, let's just go straight into the results for everyone out there. So spoiler warnings ahead. Verstappen managed to win both the sprint race and the actual race, with Lando Norris taking second place in the race, with Charles Leclerc in third place. Huge podium for Ferrari. Maybe they can start to roll their season back on. They're now back in the fight for that second place in the Constructors. Bear in mind, that's now around 10-ish points between all of the teams there for second place. It's getting really close between them. Really excited about that. And in the actual championship fight, it is now 40 points between Piastri, Norris, and Verstappen. Verstappen 40 points away from Piastri. Norris is then 14 points behind. So it's getting very, very juicy. Piastri does not have this very safe anymore. And I'm so excited to see what can happen. But talking about the actual Grand Prix weekend, I'll mention the sprint race briefly. All we really need to know is lap 1 was absolute chaos. Obviously, the collision between Hulkenberg and Piastri, whose accident do you think it was? For me, it looks like it was Piastri's fault. I think he's just trying to move where Hulkenberg already was. Like, where do you want him to go? He didn't really have anywhere to go. Hulkenberg didn't outbrake himself. He was just there. So I think Piastri's more to blame there. It's sad to say that Alonso and Lando were just in the way. Very much a shame for Alonso, because if Alonso escaped from it, he would have finished third, which would have been incredible for the Aston Martin driver. But that was basically a sprint race, and then Verstappen went to win. But in the actual race, my oh my, it was a bit boring, wasn't it? Of course, Leclerc and Norris was the main headline throughout this entire race that we just had. They had a really good ding-dong battle. Again, we saw these issues with Lando just not taking advantage of overtaking when he possibly could. I know Leclerc was covering off the inside quite a bit, but at the start when they were battling, there was a little bit of gaps in the inside where Norris could have gone. I understand he might have wanted to play it safe because he was gaining points on Piastri, who at this point still is the main rival to Lando Norris. But I just think he still needs to improve on just going for these moves. Because he did do it at the end of the race with a sensational dive bomb into turn 1. Didn't make it stick, but then on the back straight made it work. And then completely trounced the Ferrari. So he had the pace to be up there. Probably not beating Verstappen, but definitely for second easily. It's just those starts he's got to get used to again. Then another big talking point we need to mention is the broadcast coverage. My oh my, have they didn't do it justice again. Especially at a race where we didn't get a lot of crazy stuff happening. A lot of the times I was looking at people, especially with some of Stroll's moves or Antonelli moving up, and I'm thinking, why are we not being shown these? Some of these moves, especially right at the start where Antonelli was having to force back, they'll just be showing Russell. I mean, even at one point, Crofty was talking about Russell and Piastri, thinking it was them tossling for position when it was actually Antonelli and Hadjar. How the hell did you screw that up? But again, they just need to focus on... I don't really know what they need to do to improve this. Just how can you not know when there is going to be an overtake and there's not? Like, we'll be watching someone going through the S's in Sector 1, which is a really cool part of the track, don't get me wrong, and it's very satisfying to watch. But also, we'll have someone on the start straight who very clearly is like 3-4 tenths behind, gonna go for an overtake. We just don't get it shown. Yeah, there's a lot more they need to do on the broadcasting, but that is all I have to mention on that. Yuki Tsunoda, another standout drive. Actually, my driver of the day, funnily enough. Coming from all the way around 13th in qualifying, it wasn't an ideal qualifying for Yuki Tsunoda, up to P7. Incredible drive from him, and those are the sorts of drives, it won't save his Red Bull career, but it shows Yuki still is a good driver when he has a good, when he has a good race, of course that makes sense, but I thought Yuki did really well today, and I thought it was harsh for him to not even be in the top 3 for driver of the day. I just don't think people really noticed it, especially throughout the whole weekend. He had a really good weekend, Yuki. Very, very exciting to see that Red Bull looking a lot more pacey. And then further down the grid, we actually did have quite a few collisions. We had Albon spinning out again. Did we get shown that on the full telly? No, we did not. Again, annoying. We also had Antonelli and Sainz crash. All Sainz's fault, by the way. I don't even think there's really a argument for saying it wasn't Carlos Sainz's fault. Did we get shown that straight away? No. But it basically meant Carlos Sainz DNF'd after getting a sprint podium to go from basically hero straight down to zero. A very Carlos Sainz thing to do. He has been quite trigger happy with these DNFs so far in 2025. Glimpses of brilliance, straight back down to earth. And then I think the other big thing in this race, honestly, was just Oscar Piastri and his finish position. He started in 6th and ended in 5th. He just did not have pace at all this weekend. It looked like even Russell could potentially get past him at some points. It wasn't looking incredible for him. So I don't know what's going on with Oscar Piastri. He's lost all momentum. It's really got, especially Verstappen, into this fight. Lando Norris, now 14 points behind, is silent but deadly because everyone's focusing on Verstappen catching so quickly. I really don't know what the top 3 is going to be by the end of this season. I think after Cota now, Piastri's chances have gone down even more. He still is the favourite because he's still got the points. But my oh my, even on the bookies, I remember seeing it around 2.6 to 2.8 odds for everyone. It's anyone's guess for who's going to win the championship right now, and I bloody absolutely love it. And then the final thing that really stood out in this race definitely was actually Colapinto on the final laps. What a move, may I say, on Gasly. After being told to hold position, can I just say Alpine trying to outdo McLaren in stupid rule set? Holding position for 17th and 18th is the craziest thing I've ever heard in F1 in my life. Thank God Franco Colapinto didn't actually go with this. Beating Gasly, a very good showing for him trying to keep a seat in Alpine for him. And the move was spectacular. He left just enough space for Gasly on the outside, going out of turn 1, dived it down the inside, kept it on the track, didn't outbrake himself. Gasly couldn't get the switch back. Absolutely phenomenal driving from Colapinto. And I want to see more of that because I do like Franco Colapinto, but it just really hasn't really been his season so far. I guess it's a little bit hard when the Alpine is that bad, but overall, good showing from Colapinto, even though it still was 17th. But honestly, that about sums up this race. There wasn't too many controversial moments between teams bar the Alpine stuff. The McLaren drivers weren't near each other. The Mercedes drivers weren't. Red Bull weren't. Ferrari had Leclerc and Hamilton sort of close to each other, but again, didn't really have anything to come to pass. So overall, I have to give this race a 5 out of 10. I don't know where it's going to be in between all of the 5 out of 10s I've given, but it just wasn't amazing, was it? I'll still give it this because Verstappen won again, making the championship battle good. I liked that was the result. It was very good showing from him. So that does boost it a little bit. Also, the sprint race was half decent. That boosted it a little bit more as well. But overall, it's been another semi-boring race in F1. It comes back to the point where I've been looking at it now, and the last great race we've had in F1 now is all the way back in Silverstone. Comment down below, when did you think the last great race happened? Because I think from the top of my head, that about is right. So when are we going to get another good race in F1 right now? I will tell you it will come up because the closer the championship gets, just the more interesting the racing will get anyway, even if nothing happens, and that will be happening in the last few races. But we've been let down. Race results for Verstappen fans, brilliant for you guys and George Russell. But that means Cota, Singapore, Baku, Monza, they've all been pretty dud races. I mean, even Hungary wasn't an insane race. The first part of it would have been crazy if Leclerc carried on for pole position, but nothing too crazy to write home about. So comment down below, what did you think about the Cota Grand Prix race weekend? The sprint race weekend, yeah, I still think it's a half decent thing. The sprint race itself was, lap 1 was great, the rest of it was a bit naff. But for me, yeah, it can't be more than 5 out of 10. Did you guys enjoy the Cota Grand Prix? I still enjoyed it just because I love F1, but didn't blow my socks away. And overall, again, I just have to ask in the comments down below, who do you think's your top 3 going to be for the championship? Because it is anyone's guess. And I bloody love it. So thank you all so much for watching this video. It's a lot less edited again this weekend because of just the weird timings. I've got to do all of these videos quite quickly edited. So thank you all so much still for the support on these videos. I will come out later this week with a more edited video that's a bit more professional. However, thank you all so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday if you've still got a bit of it left. For me, it's about 11 o'clock now, so I'll be going to sleep. But as always, thank you all so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day and enjoy the, well, next week. Take care, everyone.